What's up, tech fans, and welcome back to Qualcomm Pulse. We're kicking things off with some massive news from Intel. Get ready, because Intel is promising leadership across the board on desktop with their upcoming Nova Lake CPUs slated for a late 2026 launch. Will this be the comeback they need? But that's not all. We're also seeing some major financial plays. UBS Asset Management has just significantly lowered its stock holdings in Intel Corporation. What does this mean for the chip giant's market position and investor confidence? We've got the details. And the Intel news keeps coming. Get ready for a timeline shakeup as Intel confirms an Arrow Lake refresh is coming in 2026, with Nova Lake now slated for a 2027 release. We're breaking down what this means for their roadmap and future product launches. Finally, we're taking a look at the bigger picture with LAKO. The US is making a massive bet on chips, signaling a major shift in industrial policy. We're diving into the intel behind this strategic move. Stick around because you need to know this. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Intel's bold desktop domination play. Intel is making a monumental claim. They're aiming for leadership across the board on desktop, with their next-generation Nova Lake CPUs, scheduled to launch in late 2026. This ambitious declaration comes from Intel's own John Pitzer, Corporate Vice President of Corporate Planning and Investor Relations, who stated, "As Nova Lake comes out at the end of next year into 2027, I think we're going to have a leadership position across the board on desktop." This is a significant statement, especially given Intel's recent challenges. The Nova Lake architecture is rumored to pack a formidable 52 cores, a number designed to challenge competitors like AMD. A key factor in this strategy is Intel's 18A process technology. This advanced node is crucial for Intel's plan to regain manufacturing independence and profitability, moving away from relying heavily on TSMC for production. While recent CPU families like Arrow Lake and Lunar Lake were largely manufactured by TSMC, Intel aims to bring more production in-house with Panther Lake, a mobile CPU, and fully realize this with Nova Lake. Pitzer highlighted the financial implications, noting that moving production to the 18A process will significantly increase average selling prices, ASPs per wafer, boosting Intel Foundry's profitability. He also suggested Intel doesn't need massive external foundry revenue to break even by 2027, emphasizing confidence in their own product execution. However, the path forward isn't without its doubts. Intel's recent track record with CPUs like Raptor Lake and Arrow Lake has faced criticism for bugs and underperformance compared to AMD. The success of Nova Lake, spanning from low-power laptops to high-performance desktops, will be the true test of Intel's ability to execute and regain its competitive edge. Could Intel's bold claims actually materialize? Find out next as we dive into the financial world's reaction to Intel's future. Investor confidence wavering, UBS dumps Intel stock. In a significant market move, UBS Asset Management has substantially reduced its holdings in Intel Corporation, selling over 4 million shares in the first quarter. This reduction represents a 6.4% decrease in their stake, leaving them with just over 59 million shares, valued at approximately $1.34 billion. This isn't an isolated event. Several other institutional investors have also adjusted their positions. While some, like Toronto-Dominion Bank and Gordian Capital Singapore, have increased their stakes, the significant divestment by UBS signals a potential shift in investor sentiment. Overall, institutional investors still hold a substantial 64.53% of Intel's stock, but the actions of major players like UBS warrant close attention. Financially, Intel reported a Q2 EPS of $0.10, missing analyst expectations and showing a negative return on equity and net margin. Despite revenue beating expectations, the overall financial picture has led analysts to maintain a cautious stance, with a consensus, hold rating, and a price target around $22.17. The company's market capitalization stands at $107.15 billion, but its P/E ratio is negative, reflecting current financial challenges. Analysts remain divided, with a mix of buy, hold, and sell ratings. The recent news of UBS's reduced stake adds another layer of complexity to Intel's investor relations, especially as the company gears up for its next-generation processors. Will these financial shifts impact Intel's ambitious product roadmap? Stay tuned as we break down Intel's confirmed product timelines for Arrow Lake and Nova Lake. Intel's product roadmap shuffle, Arrow Lake refresh and Nova Lake timelines confirmed. Intel has officially adjusted its product launch schedule, with John Pitzer, Senior Vice President of Corporate Relations, confirming that the Arrow Lake refresh will now arrive in 2026, a shift from earlier expectations of late 2025. This refresh is set to utilize Intel's cutting-edge 18A process technology, signaling a significant step in the company's manufacturing advancements. Furthermore, Pitzer clarified that the highly anticipated Nova Lake processors are slated for a 2027 launch, not late 2026, as previously speculated. These upcoming chips are expected to debut on the new LGA 1954 platform, which could be a critical upgrade path for desktop users. Nova Lake is also expected to adopt the Core Ultra 400 naming convention for its desktop processors, while the Core Ultra 300 series will be for Panther Lake. Pitzer emphasized Intel's confidence in its PC product portfolio, acknowledging a couple of holes we've got to fill on the desktop front, but feeling assured by the roadmap. The Arrow Lake refresh is intended to bolster their desktop offerings, with Nova Lake intended to conclude this strategy. The first chips built on the 18A process will be Panther Lake for laptops, followed by Nova Lake. This updated timeline is crucial for consumers and the industry, offering a clearer picture of Intel's competitive strategy against rivals like AMD. The successful implementation of the 18A and 14A processes will be key to delivering on these product promises. But what does this mean for the broader landscape of chip manufacturing and U.S. industrial policy? We're shifting gears to explore how the U.S. is making a massive bet on the future of semiconductors. U.S. bets big on chips, a new era of industrial policy. The United States is signaling a significant strategic pivot, making a substantial investment in the semiconductor industry. This move reflects a broader shift in industrial policy, aiming to bolster domestic chip production and technological leadership. While the specific Intel stake mentioned in the headline is not detailed in the provided text, the context points towards a government-backed initiative to secure and advance the nation's capabilities in semiconductor manufacturing and innovation. This national strategy is crucial in the face of global competition and supply chain vulnerabilities. The focus on domestic chip production is driven by the recognition of semiconductors as foundational technology for economic growth, national security, and technological advancement across all sectors. This industrial policy shift is designed to foster innovation, create high-skilled jobs, and ensure a resilient supply chain for critical technologies. This strategic investment is likely to involve a combination of funding for research and development, incentives for manufacturing facilities, and policies aimed at strengthening the entire semiconductor ecosystem within the U.S. The goal is to reduce reliance on foreign manufacturing and position the U.S. as a global leader in chip technology once again. This massive investment signals a new direction for the tech industry. Don't go anywhere, we've got a full recap of today's top stories coming up next. And that's a wrap on today's tech news. We saw Intel promising desktop leadership with Nova Lake, UBS slashing its Intel stock, Intel confirming Arrow Lake refresh for 2026 and Nova Lake for 2027, and the U.S. making a huge bet on domestic chip manufacturing. Don't miss out on any future updates. Smash that like button, subscribe to Qualcomm Pulse for all the latest in tech, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, drop a comment below with your thoughts, and follow us on all our social channels. See you next time.